Tinubu orders a sweeping security overhaul, demanding an end to the violence ravaging Benue, Plateau, and beyond. One question comes to mind. Will this be the turning point? Tonight, we sit down with the Benue State Governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, at this critical hour, with fresh directives from Abuja emphasizing local collaboration. We ask, how will his administration respond? What role will communities play? And after years of bloodshed, can this new approach finally bring peace? Executive Governor of Benue State, Hyacinth Alia, thank you for joining us on the program this evening. Good evening, Mr. Governor. Can you hear me? Reverend Father, can you hear me?
Yes, you sort of faint. You are faint.
All right. We're going to make that work in the course of the program. I'm hoping that you can make sense of what I'm saying so we can kickstart the conversation in earnest. Can you confirm if you can hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. It's been widely reported, Mr. Governor, that you and the National Security Advisor may have differed on the security crisis in Benue. While you were quoted to have said the state is under constant siege by armed non-Nigerian militias, the NSA insisted that no part of Nigeria is under the control of non-state actors. Does this in any way suggest a misalignment between your administration and the federal government on the severity of this crisis?
Well, good evening, listeners. Good evening, my brother. For the record, I know we have some crisis in the state, and it's persisted for quite some time now. Fact is, I think what I was saying wasn't too distant from what the NSA was also saying. We all established that there is a problem in the state. In some other local governments, the infestation had been there for quite some time. Like in Echoas local government, it's been there for almost 19 years. In some other local governments, these anxieties it's persisted in the last 22 years, and then some 7 years, and then some 6 years. So, but the new face of the insurgencies of what we were seeing wasn't too far from the fact I had leveled. What we saw and had been saying is the invaders would come in, attack, kill, to conquer, and then occupy. And that is a fact. It's a new face sort of what we see. Before now, they could come in, there was a route. They walked from wherever they came from, passed through the state, and then went further south and then southwest. But then with the increase in population and then the farming interest and all that, those spaces are no longer there. So, but what we see is there can be some kind of seeking to have those spaces out there. But the fact is, because of the population and the increase in farming activities, those areas, the spaces are no longer there.
All right.
What we experience that is even most troubling is those who come to attack us, the terrorists who come to attack us, the murderers who come in to attack us, don't come with any herds. There are no cows accompanying them. So granted that there were armed herders, they came, attacked, but then went back. What the attacks we're experiencing now is they come in without herds, attack, they're fully armed with the guns to their teeth, the AK-47 and 49, attack, move out, after a little while, then you see them occupying the space. So this is the new wave of the carnage we've been experiencing.
I hear you clearly, Mr. Governor, and I think that you have been very articulate with your position on this and how these people go about their, dastardly act. But my question really focuses on the approach, if it aligns with what the federal government is doing, because the NSA, when he visited Benue, said that government had done fairly well and the government wasn't doing badly. Do you agree with him? Is that a genuine assessment as regards the effort of the federal government in Benue security crisis?
Oh, yes, a very perfect assessment. Before we came in the last 1 year, 9 months, we heard all kind of convoluted stories, 100 kids there, 500 kids over there, like that. But what happened was 17 local governments were in the front lines of the attacks. So we worked hard, and then it came down to 9. And then what we speak about now, those that are in the red lines, in the front lines, are 6 local governments. We have done so much as a state. We bought, in support to our security heads and apparatuses, 100 trucks, 600 motorbikes, and then we reinforced and empowered some more, the joint task force we have, and then we reintroduced another one, a joint task force again. We've also brought in the Civil Protection Guard, and all these are supports to the primary mainstream security personnel that are in there. So at some point, we had experienced relative peace. In some local governments like Guma, Makudi, part of Gwe East, people had gone back to the farm. Well, remember, particularly in Guma local government, we have a very large IDP camp. They would go from the IDP camp onto their farm, do the farming, but then get back to the IDP camp. We have also crafted the Benue State durable solution for the IDPs. And the intent is very simple, to get them back to the IDP camps. Remember, the infestations of all these insurgencies have been there for quite some time. They were disbalanced from their villages for a very long time, spanning over 16 years. So I now appeal to them that we have accepted the fact that we've had these attacks by the armed headers, and then the new face we're seeing now combined. But at the end of the day, with the support the federal government keeps giving us, we'll get you back home, and that is where we are. The federal government is so much tried for us. Of late, the federal government, through the IGP, sent 2 armored tanks to us, and then also the Mopol personnel are just increased in the state now as I'm speaking. So we have gained a lot of support from them.
I hear you, Governor Alia. Allow me to jump in quickly. There appears to be a long list of what government has done, but with the recent attack, it appears that government has to do more, because in your maiden chat, you also requested that the federal government has to do more. In that media chat, you called for a reversal of the Echoas Transhumance Protocol in Benue corridor, saying that it had enabled the violence. Is that something you've raised personally with the president, who is Echoas chair? What was his response, and why hasn't this regional approach gained traction?
No, that was just a presentation I had made. I haven't. I'm yet to brief the president on the current happenstances in the state. But I'm in Abuja as I'm speaking to you here directly in your studios now. But why did I call for part of the Echoas Protocol, the treaty on the Echoas Protocol, to be reviewed again? Remember, this protocol permits that there should be, a free grazing from state to state, nation to nation within the Echoas frame. But if the wave of the attacks we are seeing are coming from those who are not like us, who have never been with us, and who don't have the interest of our people at heart, definitely there's a call for a review of that protocol. But again, here's the thing. Right from within us, there's so much that the federal government, combined with our efforts, have been doing to quell down this. If you observe very carefully as we have, there are two primary seasons where the attacks are heightened. During the planting season and during the harvesting season. And that should be a cause of concern to everyone at all.
Indeed.
Why is it just the two seasons? We are agrarian, and all our land in the state, it is 98% arable. So all we know what to do is farming. So once the people are no longer farming, and then you displace them from their homes, from their ancestral lands, right there, it's food insecurity question to bear.
All right.
How can we do to get rid of this? And this is where we are.
Quickly, let's talk about your approach, because some Benue citizens have accused you of being too measured in your rhetoric, avoiding certain names they have since blamed for this crisis. They say you haven't been as tough in addressing and calling out the perpetrators by their name. How do you respond to such criticisms?
No, I'm not a propagandist in the first place. And in life itself has to be strategized. You strategize. I mean, you plan. You think before you move out there. You don't just get out there to rant anything on security. That's not how it works. And it's not appropriate just to profile an ethnicity. I tell people not to do that. It's simply not appropriate. There are some elements within ethnicities that are bad, that attack people, that hurt people, that kill people. That is a fact. There are some people within each ethnicity that are not within the framework for peace. And that is understandable. So my role is not to profile any ethnicity, that they are bad. I mean, how would it sound? Because I'm a thief man, you just come and then say all thief people are thieves. No, it's not all thief people who are thieves. There can be elements of thievery from amongst the thief people. That should be understood. So, I mean, we really need to be at par with common sense here. Certain group come to attack us.
All right.
Common sense.
Let us attempt.
We know them. We identify them. We label them
on the head, Mr. Governor, because what your people are saying is that this attack is carried out by Fulani headsmen, and you have come out to say no, they are not Nigerians. They are from outside the country. Can you clarify that and precisely just answer those who think that you are probably covering up for those that have been accused for this crime over the years?
No, let me establish what I'd been establishing before. Even on that media outing, this is what I had presented. The first phase of what we saw in those insurgencies and attacks were the fact that a good number of people came under the guide of herding. They came to the house, and then within that range, attacks were made. That is one. So these, I tag them the armed herders. The new phase that is in compliance and that is joined force with what we are currently experiencing is this. The people that are coming come armed. There are no cows. They don't come with cows. They come fully armed with AK-47 and AK-49. They come just by their numbers, attack, kill, conquer. After a few weeks, then they bring in their people to come and occupy. This second batch of people I've described now, and it's what I've been presenting, are definitely coming from elsewhere and not Nigeria. We share border with the Cameroon. Then we share vast of our border also hooks up with Taraba and Nasarawa. So the question is, are there havens in some other parts of other states that these people are coming from to attack? I mean, the Benue state is just from within. The area we share border with the Cameroon is also quite vast. Are they coming from those areas to come into Nigeria and then get to the Benue Trough and then to attack us?
Your position on this has been well established because I have watched your interviews, a couple of them you've had. So I want to touch on certain areas that are still gray. You have also received lots of backlash online following your government's decision to reportedly block aids and visits to IDPs. Earlier in the month, the Labour Party presidential candidate in 2023, Peter Obi, accused you of politicizing IDP and school visits. Why are you blocking humanitarian access or visits to IDPs?
No.
Is this about security or political control?
That's not the right narrative. I can never politicize that. I'm the one bearing the brunt and the pains and the sorrows of the IDPs in my state. The very respected Peter Obi was a governor. And if you are coming into someone's state, there are protocols. A very high personality, you're coming into someone's state, and your party does not even know that you are coming. And I do not, the sitting governor, do not know you are coming. And then you are going into where I'm protecting even most, the IDP camp. It's my duty to protect them. They have been disbalanced. And then I need to protect them even some more. So I don't know the intent you have. Is it not courteous enough just for me to know as a sitting governor and even to provide even more security to you and to prepare the minds of the IDPs in there that some guest is coming to visit with them?
But the gentleman said he made several attempts.
We have been getting some United Nations
he said he made several attempts to reach you.
And there is a United Nations.
But you were not reachable.
No, sir. There is a United Nations. I mean, that is not a true story. If I'm unreached, if he couldn't reach out to me, I have a chief of staff. I have an SSG. I have a PPS.
He said he reached out to your ADC, and your ADC said he hasn't seen you in 3 days.
No, that's not true. That's not the duty of the ADC either.
But you were talking about protecting the people of Benue. Mr. Governor, quickly, because some UN data is showing malnutrition in Benue IDP camps. Your critics have asked, how does limiting help align with your priestly vow to serve the poor? If according to the gentleman, that his intent is to come and reach out to your people and give to them, how do you respond to this concerns?
How would I have known that his intent was just to come and visit these people? I don't want people politicizing the IDPs. They are not there when we're suffering with them. They are not there in their own sorrows. I am. I'm there with my people. And here's a fact. There is a United Nations protocol on any visit to the IDPs. What if someone gets in there and then just starts shooting them down? If you're bringing some food to them, I need to know what kind of food you're bringing to them. I hope we're still communicating. I can't hear you.
I can hear you clearly.
You're hearing me.
I can hear you clearly, okay. Mr. Governor.
So this is a fact. There are protocols. I mean, and we need to observe them. Because if I just let someone, you just move in from Abuja that you are going to the IDPs. Do I know the intent of you visiting the IDPs? I have to know so that they know that no one is coming to attack them.
We have to go now. We have just about 2 minutes for this conversation. You mentioned earlier that you have made a lot of enemies. among the elites because of some of the policies of your government. I'm wondering if you were suggesting that there is an actual sabotage of your efforts to fight this crisis. Are you?
Oh, that's no question to that. There's no question to that. So a number of people would prefer status quo. No development, no growth, no human development and all that. But if I don't do that, then why did I come in at all? I would have settled celebrating my masses where I was posted and just forgotten about everything. I've sacrificed my life in the last 35 years doing charitable work. I understand the plight of my people. I understand their pains and their sufferings. I understand their very little demands. Just support the much they are doing for themselves. Give them the good roads, give them water to drink, give them light to do. But there are people who perpetually feast on the efforts of these people. They don't want them to come to the limelight. What is wrong in paying salaries? What is wrong in paying pensioners? All right. What is wrong in bringing development for the rest of the people to benefit from?
We have completely run out of time. We are going to find time to continue this conversation. Executive Governor, Benue State, Reverend Father Alia, thank you so much for talking to us on the program this evening.
I'm very grateful. I'm looking forward to having some other chance again, but tell people not to politicize insecurities in Nigeria, particularly in Benue State.
Our studios are always open for you. You can even come again tomorrow. We'll welcome you gladly to continue this conversation.
Okay, my brother.
Thank you, Your Excellency. That's our show today, everyone. You can watch it again at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. The conversation continues on X. Tag at Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again, sir.